Morning. Welcome to another episode of Buried Rocks. We know your memory might not be as good as it used to be. Not saying anything. So we put together a little reel of some of the highlights from last week. But before that, if you got some production coming up, we highly recommend that you hire Bright Shot. Pretty cool dudes. Anyway, here are the highlights.
Do you remember? We would sit right next to the folding doors. This is a really good fucking story.
It was more fun to listen to the underground stuff. So you had to have it, you didn't have all these things we have today to find music. So if you could find a good radio station, maybe at the low end of the dial, or friends that had this music already and listened to it at their house, that's where it all came from.
Oh, I remember this guy from sixth grade?
Oh, yeah, man. I thought he was cool too. Do you guys remember any of the keggers in the woods?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I got a whole story about that if you want
Me
it.
too.
Yeah.
I remember being chased in the woods as that thing broke apart, with this half ounce of weed slowly sliding down.
Dave, you get to pick. So if you want to go with Holiday in Cambodia and Too Young to Fuck, that can be the choices.
Oh, too drunk.
Too young to fuck. Yeah.
Too young to
I
fuck
love
will
that.
go thrown right off the air.
Too drunk. I wrote it down. I said it wrong. Too drunk to fuck.
Jimmy,
You wanna go with that
I
one?
adore how you screw up all the song titles.
I love it all. Once you guys get me cursing, I'm on a roll.
That's it. That's it.
Okay, I have another question. Who's Jello?
Jello Biafra is was the leader of the Dead Kennedys.
Hi, I'm David. Welcome to Buried Rocks. Me and a bunch of my friends are going to talk about music from back when we were in Roxbury High School. I'd like to introduce the group, and they're all going to say hello. You got Roy, Cindy, Mark, and Corey. Say hello.
Hey, man. I'm Corey Wells from the Shore Hills Division in Roxbury. I live on Southport Island in Maine now. And just here to talk about some music and the era of 78 to 81 at Roxbury High School and surrounding areas.
I'm Mark. I'm from Succasunna, New Jersey, part of Roxbury. And yeah, Roy, that's Succasunna, zip code 07876. Currently living in Washington, D.C.
And I'm Roy McDonald, and I went to Roxbury High School, and I'm from Roxbury, the Landing edition, actually where Corey lived, which is the Shore Hills edition of Roxbury. And yeah, I'm here just to have a lot of fun and talk about bands from, I don't know, late 70s, early 80s that maybe you're not so familiar with. And Cindy?
Hi, everyone. I'm Coco, the sassy producer, and I'm here with the gents from Buried Rocks. So, Dave, what do you think about this first topic, Dead Kennedys?
I decided on the Dead Kennedys. I wanted to pick something that was really jumped out at people. It kind of, jumped on the scene around 78, 77. Some incredible music, and it was kind of polarizing. Some people thought it was fantastic, like myself, and some people, they were just totally aghast when they heard the name.
One thing about the Dead Kennedys, I didn't mention, I learned about the Biafran War and the Cambodian massacre probably years earlier than I normally would have if it weren't for the Dead Kennedys.
Yeah.
Clearly Jello Biafra was not his real name. I understood Jello, but what the hell's a Biafra? And
I think it's Eric or something. I forget.
Yeah.
There is a real name in there somewhere. His mother didn't call him Jello.
I hope, wow, I hope not.
At the end of Holiday in Cambodia, they sing Pol Pot, Pol Pot, Pol Pot.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Like, what the
Yeah,
hell's
they
a
do.
Pol
That
Pot?
made me look that up, and that was like some Asian leader who was like, known
Yeah.
for torturing his
Torture.
subject.
Oh no,
He
the Killing Fields is all about
Yeah,
that.
Killing Fields, that's the movie.
killed 6 million people.
What are we starting with, Dave?
Let's start with trying to read the CD with my glasses here. Why don't we start with Holiday in Cambodia?
Excellent. Would you
Great.
play that for us?
Plug it in right here and get my squirrel running on the wheel, and it'll go.
Action.
So you've been to school for a year or two and you know you've seen it all. That is coming and you'll go far back east, you dive, don't crawl. Play ethnic jazz to parade your snares on your background stereo. Bragging that you know how the niggas feel cold and the sun's got so much so. It's time to taste what you most fear. Right, God will not help you here. Brace yourself, my dear. Brace yourself, my dear. It's a holiday in Cambodia. It's tough, kid, but it's life. It's a holiday in Cambodia. Don't forget to pack a wife.
So what do you remember about that track, brother?
Well, what I remember about that is, it was pretty much, I mean, a lot of the music in that genre some of it was hard to listen to. This stuff, Ellie had very good musical notes. It was nice guitar, great bass lines, you could bop around in the basement or in your car. You were just like all over the place. That's where I played my music the loudest, was in the car. And this is music I could never listen to back home above a whisper or without headphones. Because if my mom even saw the record cover or heard the name Dead Kennedys, she'd have thrown me out of the house. I mean, they were big fans of the Kennedys. So the living ones, point is that I think that I would listen to the words to Holiday in Cambodia, and it was funny because, holiday is the British term for vacation. And if you listen to some of the words they talk about, you'll work hard with a gun on your back for a bowl of rice a day, and it was just basically poking fun at the socialist side versus, maybe what we were used to growing up as little high school twins.
Well, that was one of the neat things about the Dead Kennedys is, right, the music was pretty good. It was actually listenable for punk rock. But there was a social message in a lot of this stuff. Sometimes it was just funny as hell, stealing people's mail, whatever. But, kill the poor is really, an ironic way of saying this is what rich people really think. Let's get these people out of our way so we have more room to play.
Corey, what did you think? Did you gravitate to this band because of the name? And because
No, I think I heard more of the more musical songs, the songs that had good musical quality to them, along with the shocking content. But it was very high energy music, and I was a high energy kid.
So in the thinking about the time, let's jump back to Dave because he has another song that he wants to share with us that maybe isn't so known.
They have a track called Police Truck. It didn't get as much play, even amongst us. Definitely, some of these songs actually made the radio, kind of college radio, the underground, places like that, or got passed around. They had their famous songs. But that's a really good track, Police Truck. Let's hear that one.
Tonight that we got the truck, we're going downtown, gonna beat up drunks. You're to the drive, I'll bring the beer. It's a late, late shift, no one to fear. And ride, ride, I'll ride. And ride, you ride.
So what'd you think of that, Mark?
That honestly, that's the first time I've ever listened to this song that I remember. I did not know this this song. I got, fresh fruit for rotting vegetables, and that's pretty much all the DKs I know about.
The first record.
Yeah. And I can tell you, I remember buying the record, and I knew very little about the Dead Kennedys. I had heard of them, and Corey and I went to Rockaway Town Square Mall to Sam Goody's or something or other, and dropped like $100 on records, which was hard to do back in the day because they were $7 a pop, and half of the stuff we got was from the cutout bin. But one of the records we got was Fresh Fruit. And I remember going back to my place and queuing this thing up on the turntable. And it came with a poster with all the lyrics on it. And we were just laughing ourselves senseless. Let's lynch the landlord, kill the poor, stealing people's mail, holiday in Cambodia. I still remember that day, clear as a bell.
I love that title, Stealing People's Mail. It's funny. So that was your first experience with the band, Corey, when you went back from Sam Goody's with Mark?
No, probably from college radio. I had a lot of mixtapes that I made from, I don't know if it was FMU or RSU or all of those, but I had a bunch of mixtapes because I was in a good place with good reception, so I could set my cassette player up and just tape straight from the radio. So I still have a bunch of those mixtapes left, and they're still freaking amazing, and there's some bands that were on some of these mixtapes that I didn't even find out who the actual performers were until like a decade later. Because they didn't say the names of the bands, they would just rifle through like 20 songs before they said anything. And you might make it to the end of the tape and catch the names of the songs, or the tape might run out by that time. So you can get the whole side of a tape with no fucking commercials, no talking, no nothing. So it was, it was so worthwhile. You'd get so much crazy new music and no interruptions at all, unless you got some static.
You got some tape, your cassettes there? Can you just show the audience the amount of cassettes you have?
Doing show and tell, huh?
Tell you about cassettes. I don't know if you can read any of these titles, but these...
Yeah, wait, I see Helen Reddy. No, I'm kidding.
There we go, Mo.
Minnie Ripperton.
I have Minnie Ripperton.
But do you ever go back and listen to those mixtapes?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, every whenever I get it doesn't seem to happen anymore, but we used to get 3 days up here where it would just be pointless to go out because we'd be getting 3 days of snow and it'd be 20 inches on the ground. And days like that, I would mull back through some of the mixtapes, and they're still awesome because they're so raw, and it's a lot of it was first albums from most of these bands, so that was their most raw stuff. I think a lot of bands, it's a lot of little bands that most people probably haven't heard of that have a handful of amazing tracks.
I spent a lot of time doing that because those radio stations like Corey brought up, Rutgers University, Uppsala College, which was FMU at the time, Princeton University. I lived in Mount Arlington in Roxbury Township. It was at the end of the township, and it seemed like the end of the earth as far as Roxbury High School was considered. But the lake was a great thing for radio waves, I guess. So I got Princeton University, clear as a bell at my house. And I soaked up a ton of hardcore music, punk rock music, all sorts of great stuff.
Oh yeah, I became a fan right then and there that day. I was not big on punk rock, and I think the DKs were the only real punk rock band I really got into. And they were the beginning and the end of punk for me, because that was in high school, and I remember I was a senior in college. I went to see them at an all ages show outside of Trenton, New Jersey, like at 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday, and I was wearing a metal dog collar, and there was this kid that was just grabbing it and swinging me around by the neck, and I was like, "The hell with this! I'm done."
You're done in what way? You didn't like the dog collar, or?
Well, yeah, the dog collar came off. I was done with punk rock.
We started listening to Barry Manilow.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, and Minnie Riperton. No, and
Minnie Riperton.
it was a pivotal moment, because I was just a couple months away from graduation, so it was like you're sort of seeing the end of your childhood, and in a couple months you're going to be wearing a suit and a tie and getting a paycheck and going all corporate.
Oh God,
I want to ask Corey something, because I think that we were chatting before we got on here that you saw him live, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw him in Trenton as well when I was in high school. It was their first East Coast tour. I don't remember the name of the club. I just remember the main thing that I remember is I went with a friend who was actually of age, and they wouldn't let him in, and they let me in. It didn't make any sense at all. And then when we were actually in the pit, I wasn't a big slam dancer or anything, but I was in the pit that night. And I just remember a kid, his hand just flailed out kind of, sort of, and caught right underneath the collar of my shirt and ripped a strip right down the length of my spine. He didn't do it intentionally. He apologized and everything. That was back before pits got violent. And I just remember I had to lace up my back with a shoelace, and I had that shirt for like 5 years, man.
That's perfect.
But just that music, as soon as you wanted to empty the room, let's say you had 10 people in the room listening to music, and you wanted to try something, I'm sick and tired of Leonard Skinner. I want to hear something, let's try this out. And you'd have half the people would just leave the room. They're like, I'm not listening to this. And that made me happy.
Yeah.
That was satisfying, because this is my music, and I don't care if you like it or not. Because people like Corey would be in a room, or Mark or Roy, and they'd say, I want to hear this too.
Yeah. Of course, we never got laid.
That's another
We're
thing.
listening to Jerry.
We get through this music podcast, we can have that story too, all right? It did not endear you to the women when you played Crippled Children Suck, or Let's Lynch the Landlord, or Too Drunk to Fuck, for
I
that
love
matter.
that. I love the stealing.
You just didn't make friends with the fairer sex. You played some of this music. It was a little, they wanted to hear the lighter FM.
Yeah, I think for me it was the ball gag that stopped a lot of women from wanting to sleep with me.
Okay, that's episode 4.
Was it Wednesday night? Corey was talking about the residents, and it was a cool story. He said he put if you had like a bunch of people in a room and only one joint, you'd put the residents on, and everyone would leave.
Great. And then if it was a big party and you wanted to get everybody out, you put the residents on, and you all started dancing to the residents.
Pow. That shit was so strange. I mean, I like to stretch, but that's a little bit like out there, man.
And New Jersey has this big thing about pride. So
It does. I mean, just being from New Jersey has helped me so much in my life. It's fucking ridiculous. It really is. Everywhere I lived, being from New Jersey was such a plus. Even though they bust your ass all the time, there was a lot of respect. Like when I lived out west, there was all these big dudes who were like afraid to fuck with me because I was from New Jersey. And in other states, I found out when when they thought someone in New Jersey was born, you got your birth certificate and a gun permit.
Yeah, exactly.
You had a certain air about you if you were from New Jersey that people didn't really want to mess with. You know, it was like, who does this guy know? You know.
I know, because most of us are one phone call away from really the bad guys, you know.
Well, I had the extra benefit of being from Succossona, so I say New Jersey, I get that. Where are you from in New Jersey? I'm Succossona, and they're like,
What?
Where's
I have,
that?
I have one Succossona story, and that's how I met one of my girlfriends out in Colorado. Was we worked at the same company, and I don't know, we were all talking one day, and I was close by. I think I was standing right next to her, and I said, "Hey, I'm from New Jersey," and she goes, "New Jersey." She was from Dallas, Texas, and she goes, "New Jersey." She goes, "There's only one place I know in New Jersey, Succossona."
Oh, that's crazy.
I lost my shit. We ended up talking. We ended up going out. And she was one of the prettiest girls I've ever seen. I don't know who I couldn't believe that I ended up dating this girl.
That's what chicks say dating. You were fucking her.
I almost fell on the floor. I never even said it because I didn't want to.
Okay, where's that code of conduct? I'm looking for that code of conduct. Whoa, whoa.
No, here's the earplugs, Cindy. I'll send them to you.
we're gonna lose Cindy if we keep going down this path.
Our producer quit due to the language and
The content. Come on.
the colorful metaphors and
I don't have to write anything down to tell those stories.
No. And but some of their songs were actually good musically too. And it wasn't just shock factor. Half of their stuff was just shock factor and the song sucked. And the rest of them were, yeah, that's a catchy tune too. You know what I mean? And
like, Too Drunk to Fuck is an excellent musically.
Yes. So is Police Truck.
Yeah.
And Too Drunk to Fuck actually made it to the radio. Just they bleeped it out.
They had a lot of bleeping going on in that one.
Yeah, they did.
I heard Crazy Bitch on the radio a lot when that came out, and you like every other word.
You know that one of the first words accepted on television was bitch, because it was always used to the definition of a female dog. And
now we're working on cocksucker.
Who knew?
Right? We're gonna put pro, damn it. Hey, and another little tidbit, Dead Kennedys thing is they were on this compilation, Let Them Eat Jelly Beans.
Yeah.
That was like the compilation album along with Decline of Western Civilization.
Sure.
They only had one song on here, but I think they might have one on Decline as well. I'm not sure. But yeah, Let Them Eat Jelly Beans was like the compilation for that era. So there's amazing songs on it. It's pretty comical even to this day.
And maybe that's something we could play too, besides just tracks that we've just play something and you could go, hey, that's the UK Subs, or hey, that's Pennywise, or whatever.
Yeah.
These guys,
We're gonna have a miscellaneous episode, right?
Yeah.
Actually, UK Subs warmed up the Police. Donna Cron took me backstage, so I got to meet those guys. They were nice.
You got to meet Charlie Harper?
Yeah.
No shit.
It was the Police's second record, Zenyatta Mandata, and they were on tour. And as a sidebar, I'm going to go see Nazareth.
There's a Spinal Tap band.
Yeah. I got front row seats. Yeah, but I'm sure it'll be most of the night. I'll be sitting there going, I don't know this. The guy that sang all those songs, he's sick, so they can't have him. But it'll be fun.
And weren't they basically a one-hit wonder? I've got one of their albums, and I could.
No, they had actually 2 hits, right? Now you're messing with a son of a bitch.
Yeah,
that's them.
And then they had Love
Hurts.
And then they had I like the Razzmatazz record when I was a kid.
It was Razzmatazz.
So yeah, Fun. Anyway, we're gonna have to wind this down because we're running out of time. And next week we're gonna have, who do we have next week? Anybody want to jump in? I don't even know.
I thought we were going to talk about XTC.
XTC, right. Now, do we want to have a guest with us? Because I'll reach out to Harvey, our other friend who went to Roxbury High School, and he knows a lot about that band. Thank you all for attending this wonderful little podcast that we have, and we will see you next time here on Buried Rocks.